Okay, so this will be probably one of the experiences of all time. We're gonna start. It's the part one of making moonshine. You need to make sure. You need to get a bucket, of course, and make sure that the interior is clean. The exterior doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter that much. The interior, you need to make it very clean. You need to make it very clean because that's where our yeast will grow. Right? The exterior, as you can see, I don't really care about the exterior. It's all dirty and all that. I just need to be careful and wash my hands before starting mixing this. Now this is also clean, and I believe that, yep, it's on the outside, on the outer layer. This is also on the outer layer, and this is as clean as it can be. Alright, so ingredients. Well, materials. You're gonna need a big bucket. This is a 25-liter bucket I bought from a Polish store. I'm not Polish. What I'm about to do is legal in my country. Up to 10 liters a month when I make about 3 liters of moonshine, of pure moonshine, a year. But we are going to start by the fermentation part, which is legal everywhere. Let me just check this. This is clean. Yeah, that looks good. That looks perfect. So you're gonna need 21 liters of. For this, you're gonna need 21 to make 25 liters of pre-distillate. You're gonna need 21 liters of water, which I have here. Each one of these jugs is each one of these jugs is 7 liters, and you're also gonna need 9 kilograms of sugar. You're also gonna need yeast. I should actually get my apron before we start, because it's always useful. Protect me from splashes and all that stuff. You'll need baker's yeast. I mean, I use, for these I specifically use turbo yeast, but yeah, I'll explain later what are the different kinds. So you have this one which is 24 hours. This is not good. This is for this is to make fuel. But you have this one which is 48 hours instead of 24 hours. This doesn't taste really good. But this one is not really very truthful, because they'll then after say that after 7 to 10 days, even though it's 48 hours, that's, you know. So this one is actually just regular yeast with all the nutrients that you need. It's turbo yeast for 48 hours, not specifically by this brand, not affiliated with them. So yeah. Make sure that you have no leaks on the faucet, because you're gonna have a very bad time. And actually, I'm gonna set this somewhere. Let me move this entire microwave. If I move this entire microwave to the right, I'll get space to put these. Right. So I can put the, if it starts to leak, I can put the, I'm gonna put it anyway over there. So this is easier to mix on the ground, and you start by dumping 7 liters of water. Remember, the inside of the bucket needs to be very clean. The outside doesn't need to be so much clean. It's still recommended. I cleaned the best I could. It's fine. You're gonna need these jugs for later steps. Keep them. Don't throw them away. And you can add another 7 liters. 3.5 liters, I'm sorry. Don't have the full thing just yet. So this is, by the way, this is spring water with 5.5 pH. The pH should be between, no, this is actually 5.8 pH. The pH should be between 5 and 6 for optimal results. Now the sugar. There's a knife somewhere around here, isn't it? It's easier to cut than to, yeah. So this is pure white sugar, 9 kilograms of it. Now this will yield about 1.52 liters of 70% booze after distillation, and all the ingredients plus the yeast costed 12 euros. A bottle of whiskey of 700 milliliters of whiskey is not 12 euros, it's way more. Oh yeah, you're also gonna need a way to mix it. You can use a spoon, or you can be more sophisticated and use this, which is a paint mixer. But you can only use, when you use this, you don't use one that you have used for paints, of course. You use a brand new that you have cleaned and sterilized. You don't use a paint mixer that has been used for industrial purposes. That's how you get methanol poisoning or worse. So we can start by adding, it's 9 kilograms, we can start by adding 5 kilograms. 5 kilograms, so this is 3, this is 4. And this is 5. Alright, now we mix for a bit. Let's check it. Okay. Let's add a little bit more of water this time. I'm not sure if you are noticing. Fucking hell. I got splashed in my face. that's fine. All right. I didn't like that. One moment. No, that's fine. I didn't like that noise, I'm sorry. Thought I ate something. Should be brought here, but yeah. It's fine because they are clean now. Anyway, see, you can see the end, so this means that all the sugar has been dissolved, which means it's time to add more. But before adding more, let's take the remaining 4 kilos out. And use this as a trash bag. Yeah, alright. So we can add more, and before adding more, let's put it up here. Like so. I should install a light over here one day. Like so, we can tell. Yeah, so it's clear. The end is clear, as you can see. Yeah, doesn't recognize me. See? It's clear, it's just a bit of suspension, which is fine. We have the remaining 4 kilos. I'll then get that. Right? 3. Bet you've never seen anybody in an Adidas tracksuit and a fucking apron teach you how to make moonshine, right? There's a first time for everything, I'd say. Adidas tracksuit and apron for moonshining. Isn't that great? And we can add. We'll just add until the mark touches the 2, so the second mark here. Not all the way to the 25. Just 2 liters, just to help dissolve this. And then we will add the rest of the water until it makes 25 liters. As you can see, we are already past. We are at 22 liters, but we didn't add the full 21 liters. How come? Well, sugar and water have different masses. I meant volumes, I didn't mean masses. What the fuck? So sugary water has a different mass than just pure water. bottom, which I think there is. Maybe not. No, there isn't. There's some in suspension. Good. Now it's the final water addition until the 25, and a slower mixer this time. Slow and steady. Right, 25. Great. That's great. Of course. Right. Now everything is just full of sugary water. That's fine. So we tilt this a little bit just to see if it will stay like a puddle here later on. Next step is to prepare the yeast. So what I'm gonna do is grab a cup, relatively clean one, and I have a cut in my hand that doesn't allow me to. There's probably scissors somewhere around this place. Let's use the knife. There we go. So put the yeast into the cup. Okay, the yeast and the nutrients are dehydrated. It smells like bread. Should be a bigger jar, but that's fine. Something like a bucket like this would have been better, but that's fine. Now we will add a little bit of water. And let it sink. And you can see it sink up. Great, not... I have spoons, man. I know I have spoons. Okay. Let's pour the yeast in. Let's do second wash of the cup. Alright. Because whatever stuck. Be careful not to get any yeast on any open wounds that you have, like I do. Do as I say, not what I do, because that's not really good for you. There we go. Right. The yeast will settle. Now the yeast will settle and start producing alcohol. 25 liters. Cap these. You will want this water later, and what I'm gonna do is actually add to this water that I have here from other mixes, which is fine because I actually need the empty jug later on. Okay. This water can be used in the final product to dilute it. If you don't, I don't recommend drinking it at like 50, like 70% alcohol after distillation. Okay, it's already making a noise. Now, next step, you will need to cap it good. And you'll need an airlock. Could be a side airlock, could be a top airlock. We are going with the top airlock. Now, in the top airlock, I recommend, so when you start adding, you don't add water. Water is bad. You'll add some kind of spirit. I usually use old moonshine from an older run, but I don't have that available, so we will add some whiskey, Scotch to be precise. That should be, we got a funnel right here. Now you need to open the side port in order for the air to be pushed down. There you go. It's equalized now. Good. Close the side port and cap. Make sure it's vented, by the way. And cap your airlock. And give it 2 or 3 weeks and we shall be done. Where's the whiskey cap? Give it 2 or 3 weeks and everything should be done. Now it's a matter of cleaning everything and, well, waiting. Make sure that the room temperature is not very low. Currently it's 16 degrees outside. The thermometer here marks the water at 16 degrees. So that's good. Ideally, when it starts fermenting, it will go up to 21. That's the ideal temperature. Close the window. Since it gets cold at night and hot in the day, keep the window open during the day, but close during the night. Close it during the night. So, since it's quite warm right now, I'm actually gonna close it. And yeah. Make sure, however, you keep a door open because this will produce CO2 and you don't want to come here 15 days off. This is one of the things that you do and you start doing and you forget about it. So yeah, there's that. Meanwhile, let me turn off the webcam. Let me turn off the camera and proceed with what I'm doing. Proceed with my life. Isn't that great? We are on the second day of fermentation. It's still gonna take a couple more weeks. However, it's doing something. So we just have to wait more 2 weeks. Temperatures are fine, are between 20 and 18 degrees. Ideally it would be 21, 22, but it's not by a couple of degrees off that this is remember, this is producing alcohol. This is one of those. This is not like growing certain plants that people like to smoke. This is one of the things that you put in a corner and forget about it for 3 weeks and then it's done. Okay, so it got to the time that we must prepare. As it's been 3 weeks, it has considerably slowed down. The fermentation here has considerably slowed down. So it's time to pack it into the bottles. It's been 3 weeks. So for starters, let's move these and these. Okay. And now what we do is open this, which is a secondary safety. Start filling. To start filling. Okay, first off, let's try to lower these bench a bit. All right. I need a funnel. Now we must unpressurize it by using the side opening, equalize the pressure, and open. Probably have somewhere the other piece for that faucet, or maybe I don't. Who knows? We no longer need the airlock. Right. be enough for one. We don't cap these. We don't use the caps for now, at least. We will not use the caps for now. I'm gonna get a collection of caps by the time I'm done with this. Now this might restart the fermentation part, and that's why we don't cap these. We use balloons. We use balloons on these. Oh shit. And that one is torn. Maybe these are old balloons. Right. So we use balloons. Is this the blown one? It is. And we store these in the fridge. And they stay here for 3 more days. After 3 weeks, you'll notice, if you do this, you'll notice that this smells kinda sweet. Shaking the yeast will likely restart fermentation. And shaking / moving. Maybe I'm actually gonna feel this one a little bit better. Right, we got 11 liters left, but the bottom usually is just dead yeast material. So see, as I told you, it's a bit gassy, but that's fine. And then in the end we need to wash that, of course. Honestly, at this point I can actually take the lid out. Well, that one is filling up. This is the broken one. We can put balloons in this. These two. And we put them in the fridge. Fucking hell, another one. And the idea is the same for this one. Let it empty and we put the three of them here. And let them stay there. Hold on, isn't right. Okay. Hold on, this isn't right here. This isn't right. Like this. And we put them here. Second one. We put them here. And the last one, which is also done. We do this. And that's it. That's basically it.